For today's project, we're going to need 4 pieces of real red cardstock, and they measure 2 inches by 11 inches. We're also going to need a 6-inch square of Whisper White and a 5 7/8 of an inch square piece of basic black. We're also going to need 2 extra pieces of basic black. Now these measure 1.5 inches by 4 inches wide. A couple of gold circles. These are 3/4 inch circles with a 1/8 inch hole punched in them. And we're going to need a 6-inch piece of black twine, some 1 7/8 by 1 7/8 decorated squares. Some are stamped and some have some DSP on them. So let's get started. With our pieces of real red cardstock, we're going to score them on the long side at 2, 4, 6, 8 and 10 inches, and there's going to be 1 inch left over, and you're just going to fold them in a zigzag pattern so you get that, and just reinforce those folds. Now once you've got your 4 pieces that have been scored and folded, with the top square we want that facing down, so not up, we want it facing down, and the little 1 inch leftover part is going to be facing down as well. So it's easier to decorate them while they are like this. So I'm just going to go ahead and decorate them. Now these 4 squares are going to be at the top. So once you have all 4 of your red panels decorated, we're going to start to build our card. Now, to do this, we're just going to rule 2-inch lines. So how I'm going to do that, I'm just going to pop, the easiest way I think is to just pop a tiny bit of adhesive onto your basic black piece just to hold that in place, and then using your ruler you're going to mark at 2 and 4 inches on the top and on the bottom. And we're going to do this to the other side as well. Okay, so just remove that panel from there and placing some adhesive on that 1 inch undecorated place. Just line up one of your decorated panels with the lines that you've drawn and fold that piece over. So I'm going to turn my black panel and add my adhesive, line up my decorated red cardstock and fold over the tab. So once you have glued all 4 down, taking approximately a 5.5 inch square of just box, this is from an old box, we're going to place that onto there. Now this works the same way as dimensionals, but it gives a complete surface rather than having some dots and then your cardboard is going to wave and cave in where you do not have it. So place this down, covering up where we glued our 4 pieces down, and then apply adhesive to the other side of the box. So here comes the most difficult part of this card. You're going to have to fold up these panels so that we can position our black square on top of our white square. Okay, so now our card is coming together. So just fold down your panels, and I find that a peg or this is a photographic clip, but any strong peg or clamp will work. And they're also really handy if you do box making or those sorts of 3D objects. So now with that sitting off to the side, we're going to create the top of our lantern card. So taking our 4" by 1.5" pieces of basic black, we're going to score each side at 3/8 of an inch. And then we're going to fold that into the center like so. Now pop in some adhesive just into the center, and you can secure that down. Once that is secured, you're going to find the center of this piece. Now that is, so it's going to be 2 inches that way, and it is 3/8 of an inch that way. Once you've done that, we're just going to pop a hole in it. So to decorate this top piece of our lantern, I've die cut one of the shapes in the petals and more dies. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to emboss this with gold. Now how I do that is I take just a scrap of cardstock, and I'm just going to put a little bit of glue and then just put that onto the end of that scrap piece of cardstock. Tombow dries very quickly, which is great. Now I'm going to just press my die cut shape into a Versamark ink pad. I have a old Versamark ink pad which I use specifically for this technique. It doesn't matter if it gets a bit dirty. And then we're going to simply heat emboss this. Once we've heat embossed that, we're going to repeat and heat emboss it again. And I'm going to do this a total of 3 times. Now once you've done that, just very carefully peel off the die off that scrap of paper, and we're just going to reheat that end just to get rid of that last bit of embossing powder. And that will just wipe off your silicone mat. So then we're going to have 2 pieces. Now when this is done, it feels like plastic. It's very thick and rich. So what I'm going to do now is, on top of my black pieces that we punched a hole in the center, I'm just carefully going to place a line of adhesive and stick them straight down. Now we're going to place an eyelet into the center of one of our pieces, and then we're going to crisscross these 2 pieces and set our eyelet. And this is what you will have. So now it's time to attach the top of our lantern card. Before I do that, I need to add some of our twine. Now this is roughly 6 inches long. You might want it a little longer if you want a larger section to hang. And then I'm going to feed that through here and just fasten this piece down with a little bit of fast fuse. Place that down there. And then I'm going to put a bit of Scotch tape over that as well. So to put our top part on, just lift up one of the corners, and you can see how far the edges are going to go in. So lift up a corner, one of your crossbars, place some glue, and then all we're going to do is take these off. So I have centered this. You're just going to lift up the top piece like so and chomp him down. So once that is all done, our card is just about finished. I'm going to place a few embellishments here in the corner. Another option is you could cut off from point to point here to create a hexagonal shape, and you can write your greeting on the bottom. Yeah, so I'm just going to finish this off and then I'll come back and show you the final card. So this is my finished card. I'm going to call it a lantern card. And I really love it. It's so easy to do. I hope you try this yourself and let me know what you think. If you really like this video, please give me a thumbs up. I appreciate everyone's support. Until next time, stay crafty. Bye.